In this video, we're gonna make sure not to leave out all the reasons that people do love living in the mountain area of Durango, north of Durango, but we're gonna mostly focus on the cons of living in this area. And we're gonna make sure to kind of pull apart some of the reasons that some of my friends don't like living up there, some of the cons that they text me and told me about, and we're gonna jump into it right now. All right guys, before we dive too much into this video, I want to start by telling you where we're at. So we are over at Baker's Bridge. I'm going to turn the camera and show you. And the reason I'm showing you, there's Baker's Bridge right there. The reason I'm showing you where we're at is this is kind of the southernmost point of the mountain resort area that we're discussing today. So it kind of gives you some context of where we're at. This is an awesome spot to check out if you're in town checking out Durango for the first time or the 10th time. This is a really cool spot in the summer especially. People love jumping in off these rocks into the water and just hanging out. So I want to give you some context first, and then let's just jump back into the rest of the video. So the first con of living up there in the mountain area is really the location. Now, as funny as that might seem, it is the most incredible location, in my opinion, in all of Colorado to live. There's so many different reasons, and I'm gonna dive into some of those amazing reasons to live there, but the reason it's kind of a con is it's just a lot more secluded. And I'm gonna give you the distance to some things. So let's start with just there's really not any decent stores up there at all, or bigger stores as far as just getting groceries, even getting some everyday essential type items. There is a small convenience store at a gas station. We're gonna show you that. There's a great pizza spot, a couple great restaurants, and then of course Purgatory Ski Resort has some shops in there that you can go into in a pinch if you need something. But let's discuss distance to things. So distance to North City Market, which is gonna be your closest grocery store that's in town Durango. It's gonna be 26 minutes. So, really just about an hour round trip. And for reference, I am using Purgatory Ski Resort as my point, which is almost the furthest point north in this mountain area. There are some homes north of Purgatory, but they're not much, maybe 2-3 minutes north of Purgatory. And all the homes south of it are of course gonna be closer to downtown Durango and to all these amenities that we're discussing. So really your furthest distance is going to be these distances that we're listing off here. So 26 minutes to North City Market from Purgatory, 32 minutes to downtown Durango, and I'm using Strader Hotel as a reference point, and then 50 minutes to the airport, which is basically southeast of downtown Durango, 41 minutes to Mercy Regional Hospital, which is again the same direction but not nearly as far as the airport, and then 26 minutes to the rec center, which is kind of one of our bigger gyms. I go there, I love the rec center. I lift there about 4 days a week with a buddy of mine. I use the pool as well. They've also got racquetball courts. They've got basketball courts in the morning. People are playing organized pickleball games. They've got a nice heavy bag for boxing. They've got a good assortment of equipment, of machines, of racks. They've got 2 power racks. And so not a ton of equipment. They're not gonna have like your strongman equipment. They're not gonna have a lot of your like stuff that's more out of the box type lifting. And then what else? So really in that Purgatory area, that mountain resort area, there's going to be that pizza shop I mentioned. We've got Backcountry Grill and a nice spot for, it's called The Nugget. Great spot for beer, alcohol, hanging out. They've got these really cool fire pits outside. And then there's gonna be, of course, the restaurants that are up at Purgatory as well. So there are a few little restaurants, a few spots to shop, but not a whole lot. So that's really the big downside. You're spending more money on gas, and we're gonna get into this later in the video, but the roads are definitely not always easy to drive on in the winter. Now, they do a phenomenal job of snow plowing, but we'll get into that a little bit later, so don't cross it off your list yet. Make sure you kind of wait to hear what I have to say about what the winter is like, because I think it might be still doable for you if you're not crazy about the higher elevations. Let me know if you have any questions on the gym. I'm more than happy to go over that in more detail for you and based on what you're looking for. I know what all the gyms have to offer in town and happy to go into more detail on that, so just reach out. And this is why you guys gotta reach out to me. I'm a licensed realtor here in Durango and Southwest Colorado. Love to hop on a call with you, kind of pick apart the area, show you the amenities that different areas have to offer, offer, just like I'm doing in this video, but more personalized to what you're looking for. Happy to get the drone up in the air, give you a personalized video tour of an area you're looking at or a neighborhood, and then more than happy to go through properties, give you a real good video tour of properties you're looking at as well. Just did this for a client a couple weeks ago, went under contract on the first property he saw actually. And you know, the video really worked out for him. He really got a good idea of what he was looking for. So don't hesitate to reach out. Days, nights, weekends, happy to connect with you guys and help you out. Let's dive into the rest of the video. Now, while we're talking about location, just like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I gotta tell you about some of the pros and some of the incredible reasons to live up there while we're doing this video on this area. So there's some incredible trails that I love up there. There's one called Castle Rock via Elbert Creek Trail. Castle Rock is incredible. So it's only about an hour-and-a-half hike. You're kind of hiking at a moderate pace to get to the top where it does this massive overlook. You're overlooking Electra Lake and just this entire gorgeous area because there's basically kind of cliff sides on both sides of the highway coming in. And so you're just looking over the highway and all that area. Really, really pretty. Good amount of parking right there at that trailhead. And it's really just uphill kind of switchbacks most of the way. So decent amount of incline, but not crazy. It's not like you're doing any climbing, you're not bouldering or climbing over any boulders. It's kind of cool because about halfway, there's a little cabin up there. There's a lot of other trails that are just really, really big, long trails. Like the backside of Purgatory Ski Resort has Hermosa Creek Trail. It's roughly a 38-mile trail that takes you all the way into south of James Ranch and drops you off up there kind of above the James Ranch area, which is down south of the mountain area. And then you've got a trail called the Animas River Trail, which is the same name as the river trail in town Durango, but this one is different. And so this one is relatively flat for a trail, but it's about the same distance, about 9.6 miles or so, and it's taking you into Chicago Basin. And so they've got a hike there called the Grand Slam. So it's doing 4 14ers. And of course you can choose to just do one, but Sunlight, Windham, and the 2 Eolus peaks. And we're actually planning to do those this September. So what's tricky about that, if you're not into hiking or haven't done a ton of hiking, is you really want to time it with all the rain that we get, the monsoon seasons. You don't want to get stuck out there when there's lightning. So you want to get up super early, 3, 4 in the morning and get going. But what's nice is the hike in is pretty decent, pretty easy. And so you could always just do the hike in because it's just a stunning area. You'll see mountain goats out there, birds out there are incredible. My buddy was saying he had a golden eagle just fly right over his head when he was on the top of one of those peaks. Just the scenery is stunning. I actually really like snowshoeing down in there as well. I snowshoed in there last winter and it's just really stunning, really pretty because the river is running right through kind of that valley, if you will. Really pretty and not a big risk of avalanche risk either, to my knowledge. And so a bunch of other trails. Something I want to mention is a lot of these subdivisions back up to their own trail system or to the national forest with a ton of trails as well. And then a lot of these subdivisions have lakes right in their backyard, have private lakes, private ponds, Lake Purgatory. There's some others. A lot of these just have little ponds right around them. Some that don't have lake access are just very close to lakes like Haviland Lake or Electra Lake. Electra is still closed at the time of filming this video, but they are working on opening it. I'm hoping they have it open by next year. But yeah, you just have so much water access, so many different hiking opportunities in here. And just going north, of course, you've got Silverton, you've got Uray, so you are closer to those areas as well. Let me know if you have specific things you guys like to do outdoors. Throw in the comments, what do you like to do outdoors? I'll focus some videos on what you're commenting as well, or at least bring up some of those things in videos. And would just love to know that as well, because then I can also kind of tailor these videos more towards what you're looking for. But this area really has it all, from water to hiking to, of course, the skiing, all the snow activities. You know, and I always want to bring up in these videos, just be careful, guys. There's a lot of accidents that we hear about in the winter and in the summer, people getting lost. There's mountain lions out there, there's bears out there. We don't hear of a lot of attacks compared to other parts of the country or the world like Canada, but something I always want to bring up in these videos when I'm talking about hiking and all this kind of stuff as well. All right, then here at Glacier, it snowed 13 inches in the most recent storm, and we're at about 7,400 feet elevation here. Some really cool amenities in here. Some great trails that this subdivision backs up to. They've got cross-country skiing that is groomed trails on Glacier on this golf course. Just a really cool area, and as you notice, they get quite a bit less snow than Purgatory. So I wanted to point that out. For being in the mountain area, you get a lot less snow and you're still a lot closer to town. So it's kind of that in between, still being up right in the middle of the mountains, but getting a little bit less snow than being way up at that higher elevation, closer to 10,000 feet. So I wanted to come over here and physically show you the subdivision of Glacier because they've got some great amenities. Right down there, tennis courts, pickleball courts. On the other side of that area is the golf course. And then as we turn over here, they've got this nice grass area to play in with a nice fence. And then you've got an outdoor pool, an indoor pool, really nice gym in there. We've got some really great treadmills, ellipticals, bikes that are looking at that view right there. Then they've got another pool up. Turn the camera around. You see that ridge right there. They're building some houses up there on that ridge overlooking they've got stunning views overlooking this area. And they've got a private pool up in that subdivision as well. So some incredible, exquisite homes in this subdivision. But then there are also some great rental properties in here in the area condo association of Tamarron. So we've actually sold some properties just recently to some investors in there. They're going in that kind of like $300,000 to $800,000 price point, depending on if it's a studio, 1 bedroom or 2 bedroom. We sold one recently for about $650,000 range, and does really well as a rental in the summer, but especially in the winter too, because you're close to Purgatory Ski Resort. And they've got a management company here called VRC. Happy to connect you with them. I can show you some of the profits and what they're looking like. They do a really good job of breaking those down. So if you're considering a vacation rental, we'd love to work with you. I'm an investor as well, and I love investing, so I love talking about that and diving into that world. Now, when I asked my friend what his top cons were of living out in this mountain area of Durango, the number one thing on the list was the amount of snow that they get out here. Now, you're probably aware you get way more snow at higher elevation. We're just about 9,600 feet elevation right here where I'm standing, right across the street from Purgatory Ski Resort. So let's give you some actual numbers. In the last big snowstorm that we got, Lake Purgatory, which is just up the road or just down the road from us, very slightly, about a quarter mile down the road from us, they got 31 inches of snow. So obviously we're right across the street from Purgatory Ski Resort. They're getting a ton of snow, but to show you the comparison, 31 inches of snow here compared to in town where they got 5 inches of snow at 6512 elevation, just right in downtown Durango. Now Glacier, which is kind of at the southern point of this mountain area, got 13 inches of snow, and they're at 7,400 feet elevation. My friend was telling me, now he doesn't have a really long driveway, but they've got a decent driveway, maybe 100-yard long driveway, maybe 50 to 100 yards long. And he said it's really stinks because you can get stuck in there and are waiting on a snowplow to come in and plow your driveway. Now, the big alternative to it is having a snowplow on your truck, maybe buying a cheap truck, putting a snowplow on the end of it, or having an ATV or UTV, putting a snowplow on the end of that. But if you're getting 2 feet of snow, it's tough to keep up with it. Like a lot of times you're wanting to wake up early in the morning, start plowing, and keep up with that snow in conjunction with maybe having someone come out and plow it as well with the truck. So there's a lot of combinations. Reach out to me if you want some references to some good companies. Got some good companies. I referred to my parents. They've got a decent sized driveway. They've been really happy with the service that they've been getting. And while we're talking about that, it also really depends on the subdivision you're in, or if you're on some bigger acreage, the length of the driveway, and the steepness of the driveway. You really want to kind of take all that into account. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm more than happy to get a drone up in the air and actually walk the driveway for you, show you that specific driveway that you're considering out this way. Because if it's a driveway like this home behind us here, where it's just a very small driveway where the cars just fit on it, super easy, right? You're hitting that with the snowplow, or you're hitting that with the snowblower. So it makes it simple in that sense, and you really just want to kind of look at the property specifically if you're not too scared by the amount of snow you're getting out here, in comparison to downtown Durango or the Animas Valley or just other parts of the county where it's lower elevation. Now, the next thing on the list is going to be mostly gated subdivisions out here, as well as bigger acreage properties. So a lot of these subdivisions are very small, little subdivisions. They're gated subdivisions, and you don't have a lot of those bigger subdivisions that you might think of in a lot of bigger cities or even in town Durango. So the reason I bring that up is a lot of people really want a subdivision where they can walk the roads and get a good amount of walking in, say a 2-mile walk every day. And in the fall, summer, spring, you can do that. In the winter, a little trickier. Maybe you just put on some micro spikes. But in a lot of these subdivisions, you're just not having as much road as you might want. You know, it might be half a mile loop and that's all there is to it, because there's just a lot of little pockets where builders were able to have a little envelope, have 15, 20 lots, and that was about it. So let me know again specifically if that's what you're looking for. I can point you to a few different subdivisions out here, but there's not much as far as that goes. Now, of course, in the summer, spring, fall, and in the winter regarding snowshoeing and skiing, there are tons and tons of incredible trails, but they're trails and you're not able to be on pavement. If you have little kids, it's trickier. If you're wanting to, have them learn how to bike on pavement and that kind of thing, you don't quite have those amenities, but it kind of makes up for it in the dirt trails, the off-road trails. There's so many different amenities regarding that, kind of like I discussed earlier in the video. So keep that in mind, although, going back to the gated part, if you do want that privacy, those exclusive subdivisions where they have a really nice gate, nice entrance, beautiful, stunning property as you drive through the subdivision, you're definitely going to get that out here. There's some stunning subdivisions like Two Dogs, Wyndham, Castle Rock, some of these subdivisions that are just exquisite when you walk, go right in the gate. Really stunning entrance and just has that incredible, exquisite feel, that luxury feel as you go into that subdivision. So when my clients call me up and say, we really want that luxury subdivision, we're paying $1, $2, $3, $4, $5 million for a home. We don't want trailers right outside of the subdivision. We want that luxury feel. So on the flip side, if you're really wanting that luxury feel, wanting that privacy, you're going to get that here, because there's a lot of subdivisions that are gated, that have that privacy, that have the security of that gate. And some of these are even double gated, or the home has a gate to its driveway, and then there's a gate up at the beginning of the subdivision. So it really just depends on what you're looking for. Again, let me know what you guys are specifically looking for, and I can kind of point out specific subdivisions that might work the best for you. The one thing I wanted to mention again is snowplows do a really great job up here. So you might be really concerned about the snow up here. I would really love to reassure you that the snowplows do a great job. I see them up here at 5, 6 a.m. in the morning, plowing all through the day when we're getting a ton of snow. So keep in mind, it's not like they're hitting it once and then, oh man, what do I do if I get stuck in? Like overall, they're doing a really good job. Granted, there are subdivisions or acreage lots that maybe have longer driveways where the snowplow isn't hitting it, or the city isn't covering it, or if you're not in an HOA, the snowplow isn't hitting it. So again, you want to kind of be cognizant of the properties you're looking at. And again, the elevation gain in the driveway if it's a steeper, longer driveway. So let's talk real estate. So this area is the most expensive area in the entire county for real estate, the mountain resort area. So let's dive into some of those numbers. The in-town median home price in 2023 was $780, and that was up 2.6%. And then La Plata County, which isn't counting in town, was $664.50. And that went up 7% in 2023. So even though those interest rates were going up, those prices still went up. Durango Mountain Homes, this area that we're talking about in this video, was $2.09 million. And that went up 26.7%. So it gives you a real good grasp on the difference from downtown area, in town, the county to here. And the lowest price home in the mountain area is 1.75. And the highest price home on the market right now is 9.975. And that's actually why I am standing outside of the Wyndham subdivision right now, because that's where this home is at. So I just wanted to tell you a little bit about this stunning home. So it is 9113 square feet on a 21 acre lot. It's a 5-bed, 7-car garage home. Breathtaking views. I mean, the most incredible views, really hard to encapsulate in photos and video. It's looking over Lake Electra, borders open space conservation with private trails to waterfalls. So that's something really hard to beat. Properties that border open space, national forest, just really, really hard to find. You do have some of it out west, you have some of it going towards Bayfield, but nothing like this type of national forest where you have those access to the waterfalls and views of Electra Lake and Needles Mountain. So having those views of the lake and that access to trails and that much acreage in this area is just so hard to come by. So guys, let me know if you want to take a look at that property, any other properties in this area. If you're also looking for a vacation rentable property, there's some great properties up at Purgatory Ski Resort. I didn't dive into that much earlier. I was talking about the ones at Glacier, which I think are a really good option as well. A lot of my clients are buying properties there and then skiing there for a little bit of the year, but then renting it out the rest of the year. And it makes a great vacation rental. And it's really hands-off. It's really easy to hand it over to a property management company because they really know what they're doing. They've got their processes and systems set up for that area, as compared to buying something maybe south or west or east of town, where it's just further from a lot of their other rentals. And that might be something you want to dive into as well. I just pointed out the values are going up and up and up in this area. So it's a great property for to build equity as well as cash flow out in this area. Now, to give you a little bit more info on that home, it kind of has that log cabin feel. It's not really fully updated, but then I want to give you a little bit more info on that home that is the lowest price home in this area. So that one is at 1.75. It's a 3-bed, 3-bath, 2676 square feet on a 1.06 acre lot. And the address of that one was 1831 Lake Purgatory Drive. So what's stunning about that home is it's in a subdivision with a private lake with Lake Purgatory, and you can kayak, boat, fish on that lake. So again, like I mentioned in the beginning of this video, there's some subdivisions that have stunning views and have incredible access to, like this subdivision, access to amazing trails. Like the other subdivision has access to that lake. So I just wanted to give you those two subdivisions, talk a little bit about those. All right, now I want to compare those homes in this area to an area in Durango. It's about 11 minutes east of Durango in the Edgemont subdivisions. So I've done some other videos on those Edgemont subdivisions. If you're curious about those, make sure to check out those videos. But this home in the Edgemont subdivisions is gonna be 516 Iron King. That home is 1.795. Beautiful home, just built in 2022. Really, really stunning updates, high-end finishes. That one is 1.795. It's a 5-bed, 4.5 bath. It's 5593 square feet. So you see the comparison there from the other home that I just mentioned that was at 2676 square feet that's up in the mountain area. So about double the square footage over in Edgemont subdivisions. That's also a newer home. And that one's on an acre as well, 0.97 to be exact. So I just really want to show you that comparison. Gives you a kind of a feel. The other one that was up in the mountain area, I didn't say, wasn't quite updated nearly like this one. Little bit of updates. It's a nice move-in ready home, but not nearly like this new build that we just discussed in those Edgemont subdivisions. So you're almost getting double the home once you get into town, east of town, west of town, in some of those subdivisions that are closer to town. So you're really getting, you know, a lot of the amenities out here is really what you're paying for, being out in this stunning, stunning scenery. Guys, by the way, I'm a licensed realtor here in Durango and Southwest Colorado. Give me a call, text, email, days, nights, weekends. If you have any real estate questions, love to be your resource for real estate out here. Again, would be more than happy to put the drone in the air, give you a drone tour of any subdivisions, any areas, give you a walkthrough of any homes. And guys, please throw in a comment. Let me know if you had any questions on this video or you would like me to show you other parts of Durango that you're not seeing on my channel. And then please like this video and subscribe. I'll see ya.